Before the video starts, for copyright reasons, I will not be including the song, but I will read out the introduction to it because I think that's the most important part. So it's from the song Black Effect by Beyonce and Jay-Z on their album The Carters. And essentially, it's this guy asking a woman, "Can you tell us about love?" She responds by saying, well, there's love of children, love of self, love of God, love of a partner, and all of them have a different shape, but all of them is the same in the end. It's about sensitivity. It's about passion. It's about unconditional giving of self to another person, and there's love of humanity. So I wanted to start the video off with that. You can go listen to it after you're done, but I hope you enjoy, and please ignore the little glitch at the start of the video. I have been trying to figure out what the heck is wrong, but if you are good at video editing, would really appreciate your help, but enjoy. Hello, and welcome to Yap Central. My name is Aya, and unfortunately, I'm coming to y'all in a very distraught state. I have been up for the last 3 hours, courtesy of my insomnia, but what else is new? But more importantly, I've been journaling and just trying to write down what it is that's keeping me up tonight in particular. And it started with a pimple on my face, as you can see. That's because for the last, I would say, 2 months, I haven't had any breakouts because I have perfected my skincare routine to a T. Been doing this for the last 3 years, mind you. And for me to have reached that milestone and then have that happen, I was like, no, something's going on. Even hormonal breakouts, I haven't had to deal with. But I realized it's because saw something yesterday that I was really frustrated with, but I just felt like, you know what? Hopefully society and the world will catch up to why this is so important, because I'm now seeing other creators out there realizing the importance of reading literacy and media literacy. But yeah, so before I even start this, I want to be very clear that this is the only video that I will ever post on my channel where you can see me, because I needed you guys to not only hear the desperation in my voice, but see it in my eyes when I ask you to do a few things for me. And not just for me, but for our next generation. If you have kids right now, this is to make sure that your kids have a good future. If you don't have kids right now, this is so you can prepare for that. We're in some pretty dark times right now, and it can make you feel like planning for the future, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because what future are we really going to have in maybe 5 or 10 years with everything that's going on? But yeah, I want to make sure that we're all prepared. So now that I've gotten that out the way, I'm just going to say it. The kids are cooked. And as the adults, it's our fault. I'll let you digest that. But yeah, it's our fault. Not them games, not them phones, partially the state, regardless of where you're, actually mostly if you're living in the Western world, partially the states, but there's a level of accountability that needs to be taken by the parents and guardians of the children that are currently growing up in this current state. So I'll be looking over at my journaling notes so that I don't go off into a tangent, but God, we're so cooked. No, we're not cooked. The kids are cooked, but they don't have to be. So honestly, quick fact about myself. For the last 5 years, I've mostly told people that I don't want kids because, as mentioned, I didn't see a future that was worth bringing them into, especially environmentally. I was like, bro, the seven wonders of the world, how many do we even have left? What am I going to show them? You know what I'm trying to say? So that was something that kept me from having kids, but I still had a goal of being the best aunt that I could be to my family's kids, and honestly, any child that needed a parental figure. Because as they say, it takes a village. I'm ready to take care of multiple villages if I have to, but I just couldn't live with the guilt of wanting to give my own child the world, but not having much of a world to give them. So obviously, since, you know, shifted from that mindset because I realized that the world that I can still give them can still be a world worth living and worth wanting to be in. But yeah, how do I say this? With that decision change, I still have a little bit of hesitation because respectfully, and I cannot stress this enough, respectfully, I'm not ready to bring no kids in this world while some of y'all kids are running around. I'm sorry. Like I said, respectfully. That's because, okay, I saw the reactions that people have been having to Kai Cenat reading on his stream. Granted, I don't watch that man and I've never watched him a day in my life. Brain rot's not my cup of tea, I'm sorry, but for him to finally not be feeding into that brain rot and people are making fun of him, that's why I couldn't sleep, bro. My skin literally started breaking out because the frustration I have when it comes to people like trying to put down other people for trying to learn, that's literally what my entire, well, the most of my YouTube channel, but specifically the brain scratch segment. The entire purpose of that is for me to be able to teach people things for free because education should not have a paywall. Education should not be hard to access. So when I'm seeing this man who has millions of followers and is essentially showing people real life examples of reading literacy, where when you don't know how to pronounce a word or you don't know what it means, you look it up, you find the pronunciation, you use phonetic. I gotta breathe through this because I'm about to have another. I already have one that's forming on my forehead. I'm trying to ignore it. That's why there's no pimple patch on it. But I'm about to pop another one because I felt so much rage. Because again, I never used to watch them, but I might just start because I would rather encourage literacy and somebody willing to learn than encourage somebody wrecking shit and punching walls and doing the most for what? For reactions? So yeah, in essence, I would really like, I just don't like how y'all are bullying that man for wanting to be better and again, for displaying what reading literacy looks like. And what I fear is that reading literacy and media literacy is something that some of y'all might not have learned in school, or you might have stopped trying to hone as a skill after you left school, which I get it. Like, life gets pretty hectic, life gets lifing sometimes. But this is also the reason why a lot of misinformation is floating around constantly because we're just kind of looking at the information, like, and moving on. Essentially, we're taking everything at face value and going about our day without questioning what it is we're consuming. And that's where we may end up consuming things that are damaging to us, actually, but also, again, misinformation. Why are you guys okay with not knowing things? It's kind of scary. Like, why don't you want to know things? Why don't you want to be sure of things? Because I don't know about you, but when I'm sure of certain things, like as like knowledge and like concepts in life, it makes me understand myself better and it makes me more sure of myself. So that's why I really do want you guys to educate yourself so that you get to know yourself better and feel more secure with every goal and every endeavor you put out in the world, because that's another conversation I'm not even gonna cap to you. So again, I don't want to go on any tangents because I've got a village to take care of, multiple villages to take care of, and I don't need any distractions, and this has been keeping me up. So, okay, yeah, as mentioned, reading literacy, even with sometimes with words that I already know what the meaning of, I'll still look them up to make sure that I'm using them in the right context, because there's general meanings and then there's exact meanings because words mean things. And we reached a point where we just, again, accept everything at face value, and it's very scary. So this PSA mostly goes out to parents and guardians, but I really wanted to briefly address the youth real quick. So kids, I want you to know first and foremost, it is not your fault that anything around you is happening right now. And more importantly, at this stage in your life, it's not your responsibility to try and fix it. It's ours. as your parents and guardians, it's our responsibility to make sure that when you're ready, everything's already set for you to have the skills, the knowledge, and the security and confidence to do what you need to do. But until then, let us take the reins. I wanted to be very clear about that. And honestly, us as adults, we've neglected y'all. And I need y'all to understand the state of the world as it is, it hasn't been easy for us to handle mentally and even financially. Times are rough. So, as much as it's not your responsibility, please give your parents and your guardians some grace. We're trying to figure it out because this is also very new to a lot of us. So give us grace as we figure it out, but don't carry that burden that's not yours to carry. It's ours. Okay? And especially if you feel like you've been taking on the burden because your guardian or your parent has been taking out that frustration on you, please understand, don't internalize that. It's not you. So I really want to apologize on behalf of all parents and all guardians that are just trying their best. Sometimes when we're trying, we don't always do it the right way, but as long as you give us grace, we can offer you grace. Okay? Now, my parents, my guardians, it's time to stop making excuses for yourself. I know you did your best. You did it with what you could, what you had, and I hold compassion for you for that. I really do. That said, I'm not even calling you guys out because I do think you're trying, but how do I say this? For a lot of you, you're trying in the same way your parents were trying. I will not elaborate on that further. You're going to know what that means, and I will unpack that in some later videos. But understand that you're trying with the same level of effort that your parents tried when you were younger, when it came to certain things that you might have really wanted or were really passionate about. So take that into consideration when you're telling your kids or when they're coming to you saying, oh, I didn't like how you did this. Oh, I'm just trying. I was just doing my best as a mom or a dad. I need you to understand, yes, you were trying, but you were trying at the level that your parents might have been. And I'm sorry, you should want to be better than your parents. Love them enough to see what their faults were and want to be better than that for your own kids because you know you deserve that as a child. So make sure your kids are getting that. So, because I know you're trying, I want you to keep trying. But I want you to try new things, new avenues of parenting. Because respectfully, the change won't start with the next generation because you're the one guiding them. What do you think you're showing them when you aren't trying the way you should be trying? So, not gonna lie, one of the main problems is that there's political unrest everywhere. We're all very uncomfortable. We're all just trying to make it to the next day. I understand. I promise you, I understand. But how do I say this? It can feel scary at times, and you might even feel like when you see these things, you're like, oh, what can I do? I'm all the way over here, and that thing's happening all the way over there. But that's actually also the very first thought before you give up on yourself, and the first thought before you give up on your level of impact. I don't like when people think that their opinions and their everything doesn't hold any weight. Your existence holds so much weight, and we've been acting like it doesn't, and I'm already seeing the consequences of those actions. I just don't want that to bleed into the next generation because again, it's our responsibility to fix it for them. So I think the main problem is we're taking in a lot of information a lot quicker than we should be. Way too damn quick. That said, just like I'm sure you told your kids, or matter of fact, I don't think y'all are telling your kids this enough anymore because your parents told you this. I'm talking about the most recent gen, my age mates. I know your parents were like, it's them damn phones. Put them damn phones away. I'm gonna ask you to do the same thing. I'm gonna ask you to do the same thing because respectfully, it's not everyday TikTok. It's not everyday reels. Go on a walk. I know it's cold out, but bundle up. Go on a walk. Touch some grass. Or sorry, touch some snow. We just got 20 centimeters. Go make a snow angel. And take your kids. Make sure you take your kids. You can do it alone. Start alone if you need to, but take your damn kids if you can. And this one I think is probably the most important one. Get yourself and them kids a library card. The reason why I say that is because, again, I said I don't want to hear any more excuses. Finances are a problem right now, but the library is exactly how you can give them experiences for free. I've had my library card for the last year. I've mostly just taken out books. Just realized that I can register to go to Ripley's Aquarium. I'm pretty sure probably the CN Tower. I have to look into that. But I can go to the AGO, pretty sure the ROM. But I can go to places where I can learn culture and learn history and learn about just the world and by extension myself. And guess what? It's free. So yeah, no excuses. Go get the library card. Or at least get your kids a library card because that's a third space for them. We don't have third spaces anymore. COVID took that away from us and we need to get it back. Let the library be the first place that we start because the libraries need us right now. They need us bad. They need us more than ever right now. So yeah, go hit them libraries up immediately. Matter of fact, if there's anything I can ask y'all, I want to see people commenting pictures of their new library card. That's all I want to see. I don't want to hear anything else. I don't want to see, don't type nothing. Show me a picture of that library card. That's going to be your access pass into anything that I'm posting moving forward. Because if I don't know if you're reading, you're never actually going to understand anything that I'm saying. Anyways, the other thing, get yourself a new hobby. I'm so serious. Oh my God. New hobbies are so exciting. Let me show you something. Where is it? Where'd it go? Okay, I can't find it, but this is a project that I was working on. It was a balaclava or a ski mask for the YNs. And this was one of the first things I learned how to make, well, crocheting. But after that, I started making hats. I love making hats. I make these like little ruffle ones, and I love giving them as gifts. So, especially to mothers. So, if you're a mom and you like hats, please, I'll make you so many. But I love giving them out as gifts. I remember just even strangers. I give them out to strangers as well. I don't do it for the money. Oops. I don't do it for the money because I don't know. I feel like that takes away from the enjoyment of it. If you start turning your hobby into like a financial like goal, ugh. Don't let capitalism fuel your motivation. Be motivated by just the enjoyment of things. But anyways, so yeah, I learned to crochet about like a year or two ago. I'm now like I've done little things, but I'm now wanting to actually like, start making clothes because I want to save money. Things are getting expensive. I don't like fast fashion. Learn a skill because that skill can either help other people or it can just make your life easier and make you more financially independent. Anyways, so learning a new skill is one thing, but you also need to make sure you're learning something new each day. And like I'm sure not each day, but at the very least, make sure that education is something that never leaves your life. I believe that lifelong learning is the key to evolution within society on so many different levels. But I say learn something new because I'm sure there was something that you were probably curious about in school, and maybe you didn't have like the right teacher, or maybe, you just had other things that you liked more, so you wanted to focus on them. That's fine, but you're an adult now. You have probably the financial means to just do a little something on the side, or as mentioned, the library, they have free courses for a lot of things. So please don't let money stop you. I'm telling you right now, don't let money be the thing that stops you because education should be free and it is free, but you're not looking in the right places. But I'm gonna tell you a story. I loved math growing up to a passion. I remember me and one of my best friends, we was in class basically like battling for who can get the best mark in our class, like on all subjects, but I remember math was really just one of the ones. But unfortunately, when I got to grade 10, the school I was at had like a strike and we were out of school for a hot minute. I wasn't complaining at the time, don't get me wrong, but I saw how it impacted my life later on because I fell off on my math. And mind you, that is the subject that everybody's always like, oh, when am I ever going to use this in life? Yeah, figured it out. Oh my God. Hated figuring it out, but I figured it out. But essentially, when we got back to school, first of all, they didn't review anything and they kind of expected us to self teach, which honestly taught me a skill where I've been self teaching myself so many things for the last few years and don't intend to stop. Um, and the other thing was, I got a new teacher, and honestly, him and I did not communicate well. I would try to ask him questions. I did not get the answer that I wanted to hear. So I decided to go back to self teaching. So I was using Khan Academy. I ended up with a pretty decent mark, but the problem was like I wasn't able to retain it well because I just wasn't enjoying the class anymore because the experience was ruined for me. Still tried. I remember taking advanced functions the very next year and met another one of my best friends. Oh, she found me crying in the library. And she's really good at math. So like honestly, I loved becoming her friend and becoming her best friend because she was somebody who could teach me stuff. And again, still kind of fell off of math because I decided that I wanted to do something else with my university career, but I still had a little bit of math in my life regardless. And then later on when I went to like Sheridan College and I went to I think um what was it? Sheridan and Humber. There was still a little bit of math included. I didn't mind, but me not prioritizing math in my life was exactly why I had become so bad at making decisions because I didn't know which blueprint to use for my decision making because that's what it teaches you how to solve problems using different tools. I didn't know which tools to use to figure out which problem. I was maybe using the wrong tools to figure out. What I'm trying to make is whatever you might have been passionate about but you didn't give yourself enough space or time or life was lifing, just do that on the side. Do it on the side every now and then. I still have my notebooks from when I was in school. I just randomly look at those sometimes. I'm just like, oh, what the hell was I learning? And then refresh my mind. There's so much value in continuing to educate yourself for the rest of your life because that also means you're not giving up on yourself. You're not giving up on your goals. You're not giving up on your dreams because every skill and every lesson can actually open up doors for you where you're like, damn, I didn't even know that I knew that. Don't limit yourself. I hate people who do that. But you know what I hate most? I hate people who make people who are trying feel bad. Like that's honestly I hate this rise of anti-intellectualism, but what I hate more is for the people who are intellectuals, stop gatekeeping. Anyways, more importantly, and I guess this would probably be like the last thing, you need to make sure you have at least two types of books in rotation at minimum. Maybe you can finish one first if you feel like you need to, but I honestly would recommend two. Try and make sure that they relate to each other. Even if they don't, that's fine. But it gives you a little bit of variety. The first being one book for self development. So that can be anything you want to work on. Maybe you need to work on your emotional intelligence or something like that. It can literally be anything. For me, I had in rotation a book on emotional intelligence, boundary building, and morality. Had those in rotation until I felt like I kind of like learned everything that I needed to be able to put into practice into my real life. And now I've been diving into philosophical thought because that's what I went to school for. Um, and history, and even just the concept of love, like love as a concept and as a practice. Because I don't know, I just think love is a beautiful thing, and I'd been running away from it for a little too long. So I just wanted to see what exactly I was running away from. Honestly, I can't wait to like put y'all on. The show is so cool. Um, but and then one for creativity. It can just be any fiction book. What I would recommend if like reading is not something that you're used to and you prefer to watch shows and like anime and stuff like that, especially if you like anime, I'm not gonna lie, read manga. I know people say like, ooh, manga readers. I promise the world you'll see of your favorite anime will be so different from what you're watching on the show. The shows are actually very limited in what they can do in terms of action wise. Most shows actually put so much budget into the action scenes that they don't put as much into the actual world building and the storyline. So, oh my god, just pick up that manga. If you like comic books, pick up that comic book. Especially if you're watching Invincible right now because they're about to have a new season come out. Let me tell y'all something. I finished the last season last year when it came out. I couldn't wait. I picked up, I found them online, both volumes. I finished the entire show, basically, the whole story. I did that in like 2 months. I did nothing in my free time but read them damn comics. I sped through them. Amazing story. I can't wait to actually see it animated. But in reading that, I realized I don't like the animated series. There are changes that they didn't need to make. Granted, there are some really useful changes that they added in the show, but the changes that they made, I felt like ruined the story for me. But I'm still going to enjoy it as I watch it. And honestly, it gives me more anticipation for when the show comes. Like, it adds a bit more excitement into my life. So that's why I'm saying you do need something a little bit of creativity. So if you have a show that you know might be based off of like a book or even like your favorite movie that is based off a book, go to the source material. There might be little hidden Easter eggs that you're gonna be so excited to find because it's gonna be like rewatching it for the first time, to the point that after you read their source material, when you actually rewatch it, you're gonna be looking at it a different lens. It's gonna make things so much more enjoyable, but it's gonna allow you to experience the world and how it can be shaped from different perspectives. And then you can tie that into how you shape your own life and the different perspectives that you can hold for it. So I'm sure you've had a perspective that you've been holding on real tight, but the world's really shaken up right now. I promise you that perspective probably isn't holding any weight for you right now. Anyways, the purpose of me asking you as the parent and the adult to do this is because you guys need to be a good example for your kids. Show them that learning is a lifelong journey and that the world shifts and changes, but we also have to be adaptable to those shifts and changes. And it starts with you and it starts with yourself. However, more importantly, you need to show them that they're in charge of their own development when their environment might fail them. We as adults have put entirely too much faith into a system and government that technically only wants us to be workers. They don't need us to be smarter than how much they want us to be. So if you're okay being like sheep, that's cool. That's fine. The reason why I'm trying to warn y'all from now is because I plan on raising wolves. I'm raising nothing but wolves as we speak. I told you, I got a village I'm taking care of. I've got nieces and nephews. I've got kids all around the world that I'm taking care of as we speak. And they will be the wolves that are going to eat up your sheep if you don't come correct with yourself first so that your kids can see a good example. So, and that's just my villages. My kids are going to have extra knowledge, VIP access to some of the shit I'm gonna know. So I need y'all to prepare. But with that, I leave you with nothing but love, motivation, hopefully a little inspiration. And yeah, we're about to enter some scary times. I want y'all to be mentally prepared. Because if you're not mentally prepared, you better throw in the towel now. Like, wave the white flag. I'm so sorry. But I'm not taking any stragglers with me. That's just going to be tying me and my village down. We got too much to worry about. But I want to worry about y'all. I do worry about y'all. I was up entirely too late thinking about y'all. So show me that you actually want to make a change. And I'll do everything I can to help you. But again, the change starts with yourself. Take the initiative. I can't hold your hand the entire way. But I hope you'll come to me when you're ready. Have a good day.
With great power comes what, son? You know the rest, son. You think I can hold you still like a baby? Let me see. Let me see. You're gonna fall! Oh, guys,
She's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind.